Hey everybody, hope everybody's doing well. This is our new setup. We got our Shakespearean insult calendar. We got Yoda with a few new dry erase markers that we grabbed at the store the other day while practicing social distancing, of course. And I got a couple dirty looks because I think I might have gone down the aisle the wrong way. But whatever, I had my mask, I had my gloves, and the woman looked a little snooty, so I'm not really too concerned about it. All right, so let's get into it. First thing we're going to do today is we're going to go over the micro chapter 15 practice multiple choice questions that I gave you guys the other day, and not a great performance, guys. All right, I'm really hoping we just went way too fast, or we're half-assing it, kind of, because that's what it seems like. These should not have been that hard. Some of these, I don't know. It doesn't seem like one person did it and gave out all the wrong answers, thinking they were right, because responses were very scattered. There was not like a really clear pattern of everybody screwed up on these couple. People were all over the place, and we had a wide range. We had a perfect score. We had a bunch of people with like 12 or 13 out of 17 incorrect, and even the people who did a little bit better, aside from that one perfect score, it was mostly at least 5 or 6 wrong. So we got some things to look at here, but that's all right. We got some time to do it, and let's get right into it. Okay, so the first one, this is the whole idea of collusion in the first place. All right, number 13. When you collude, it's not to stabilize prices. You don't care. You want to keep prices as high as you can, really, right? If they fluctuate, they fluctuate. It's not to stabilize quantity. You don't care about that either. And it is not to maximize each firm's profit. All right, that's a huge point. Look at this. Right, this is the one that's going to come up in just a minute or two. All right, if you're going to collude in this situation, you're doing what's best for the entire industry, which is going to be here. Now, that's not what's best. It is what's best for printer press, but it's not what's best for typesetter. Okay, they actually could be doing better, or there's another situation where they could be making exactly the same. So when you collude, it's to maximize joint profits. Okay, not each firm's profits. It might work out that one of the firms, or maybe even both of them, that is maximizing their individual profits, right? But collusion is about maximizing the industrial profits, right? So what's best for the industry, in this case the duopoly, for the pair, for the quadrant with the highest total. Okay, so that's choice D. 14 and 15 I was a little disappointed in, because I thought I said a bunch of times my cheesy thing, core not, cannot, right? Core not behavior is when you cannot change your output after you've established that it's going to be a certain amount. Right? Again, we think aircraft. We did that example with the aircraft. Boeing is trying to guess what Grumman is going to do, and based on that, they're going to produce 10 planes. Once they hire the workers and acquire the material to build 10 planes and set that in motion, it's very difficult for them to go do 12 or 13 or 14, right? Again, I have no idea how to build planes, but that's the example we're going with. So core not, cannot. You cannot increase output greatly or much at all, even if you wanted to. So that's core not behavior. That's quantity competition. You're competing based on the quantity that you pick, because you're kind of stuck with that quantity. Okay, 15 is just the opposite. That's Bertrand. You're more likely to get in a price war, right? Because you can increase output very quickly, because they're perfectly substitutable items, right? So if they're perfectly substitutable, I say Bertrand. Think Bertrand B like in brother, right? It's the same thing. I can bang them out, or B for bang them out. I can bang them out very quickly, unlike an airplane. Okay, let's get to the important one up here with game theory. All right. Good God, do I hope that there's a game theory question for you guys on this year's exam, which, by the way, please make sure you sign up for. Okay, just quick thing. Please take it in May. If you sign up to take it in June and something goes wrong, there's no safety net as far as like you're uploading whatever you need to upload, or logging in, or whatever different thing we have to do this year. If you tried in May, and God forbid something goes wrong, you got June to fall back on. So please take the May exam. You're all going to be ready. Monopolistic competition is going to take us like 3 days, right? And then we're just going to be reviewing. You should all be in really good shape if you've been doing what you should be doing. So, game theory. Here we go. Typesetter and printer's press. They have two options. They can cooperate or they can compete. First question, they give you all the payouts. I don't know if your copy was a little hard to read, but here they are. I tried to write them bigger based off my viewing of the last video and what a couple people have privately mentioned. And so hopefully that's a little bigger and clearer. We got the glare thing down. What is printer's press dominant strategy? Printer's press on the side. Pull them apart. They're on the side. Look up and down. Right? And again, a dominant strategy, for anybody who's still not getting that concept, is do they have a best option regardless of what the other person is doing? Okay, so again, printer's press. Pull them aside. If typesetter is cooperating, they want to cooperate because 200 is better than 180. If, however, typesetter decides to compete, they still want to cooperate because 150 is still better than 125. So whatever this guy does, doesn't matter. This guy's going to be better off if he cooperates. 200 is better than 180. 150 is better than 125. Sorry, I'm supposed to start my watch. Make sure this doesn't go ridiculously long. Okay, so that was choice B. 16 should be B. Then it asks you the same thing about typesetter. Typesetter's on the top. Pull him apart, up and down, right? Because he's on top, he looks side to side. Assuming printer press is going to cooperate, typesetter wants to compete. 325 better than 300. Then, if printer's press is going to compete, typesetter still wants to compete because 300 is better than 275. Okay, so his dominant strategy is to compete. Whatever this guy does, he's better off in either situation by competing. Okay, so that was choice A. Next question was, when printer's press and typesetter, when they pursue their dominant strategies, the sum of their joint profits, and I know this got cut off, don't worry about it, I didn't mark anybody wrong for this. There's only two choices. Is maximized or not maximized? Well, dominant strategy, cooperate. Dominant strategy, compete. It's going to put them in that quadrant here, right? Are their profits as an industry maximized? Well, if they did this and they both cooperated, 300, 200, they get 500. If they do this and they work together, they get 475. So they're not maximized. They could be getting that. And just check out these other ones just in case. This is 455. And the other one is 425. Okay, so it's second best, right? But it's not the best, right? If they both cooperated, that would be what's best for the entire industry. And they don't ask you this, but since I know that these guys are choosing their dominant strategy and so are they, that should be your Nash equilibrium. Let's check it just to practice, okay, with the method I taught you guys, right? Assuming that typesetter is going to cooperate, could printer's press, if he was here, make himself any better? No, he couldn't. Right? He could only go down 20 bucks. But if I know printer's press is cooperating, could typesetter make themselves better off? Yes, they could. They could go up 25, therefore, not a Nash equilibrium. Come on down here. Okay? Assuming again that typesetter is cooperating. This guy's on the side. I think top to bottom. Could I make myself better off? Yes, by 20 bucks. Boom, I'm done. Don't have to check anymore. Not my Nash equilibrium. Come on over here. Let's continue with typesetter. Definitely competing, right? So these people, the printer's press, think I'm on the side. I think top to bottom. Could I make myself better off? Yes, by 25. Not my Nash equilibrium. I know this is. Check it just in case. Assuming typesetter is going to compete, could printer's press make themselves better off? No, I couldn't. I could only go down 25. Assuming that printer's press is going to cooperate, could typesetters make themselves better off? They're on top. They think side to side. 325, 300. No, they could only go down 25. So there we go. That's my Nash. I don't even know it didn't ask you that. Again, you could have multiple Nashes, Nashi, equilibria. Um, well, you could have more than one. In this case, there's only one. All right. Next one we had a lot of struggle with, and honestly, I really think it's because it's more reading than anything else. You had to really read this slowly and think about exactly what they're saying to set up your matrix. Then if you had trouble with the matrix after that, that's another issue. Right, so let's go nice and slow. This blue one was seeming pretty good, so we'll stick with that blue one. So you got firms A and B. Again, I'm hoping I'm making this nice and big for you guys to see. I'm putting firm B on the top, doesn't matter. If you did it the other way, it's, you should still get the same results unless you're doing something wrong. And their options are to advertise or to not advertise. Same thing for the other firm. And again, if you decided to put not advertise there, it doesn't matter. Hey, if you don't feel like doing the vertical, the lines through the boxes, you just put them side to side. Just whatever is on the side on the left, make the first number. Okay, so read slow. Let's try out one of these new guys. It says if firm B advertises, okay, so firm B is going to advertise. Firm A earns $2,000 if it does not. So, if it does not, and they do, these guys earn $2,000. And $1,800 if they do. So again, they're advertising, so are they, and in that case, they tell you they get $1,800. Okay, if firm B does not advertise, now we're here. A earns $2,200 if it does not. So if it does not, they do, they get $2,200. Oops, sorry. And if they do in that situation, they don't, they do, they get $2,000. They also say here, just quick side note, they explain, they tell you don't worry about opening the store earlier, cooperating, not cooperating, why that leads to the payouts that it leads to. In this case, they explain it, and they say that advertising increases its costs more than its revenue. All right, so that's fine that they explain it that way, but come on, guys, if you do something and it increases your costs more than your revenues, probably not do it, right? Side note. Okay. So then for firm B's payouts, do that in green, make it look a little Christmassy. They say if firm A advertises, okay, so I know I'm here, firm B earns $3,000 if they do not. Okay? So if they don't advertise, they earn $3,000. And $2,700 if they do. So they're advertising $2,700. Okay. If firm A does not, right, now we're looking down here, B earns $2,600 if they do not, and $2,400 if they do. Okay, so that's what your payoff matrix should look like. Again, it might look a little different if you flipped where you put A or B or ad versus non-advertised. But look, go back and look at yours and see if that was your problem. All right, then we'll go through the questions. What is firm B's dominant strategy? Firm B on top, pull them apart. Firm A advertises, he wants to not advertise. Firm A doesn't advertise, he wants to, again, not advertise. So he wants to advertise, not advertise every time, no matter what, regardless of what this guy does. And that means he has a dominant strategy. That was choice B. What is the Nash equilibrium for this game? Okay. Again, a couple different ways you could do this. Pull them apart. Does firm A have a dominant strategy? Let's see. If B advertises they want to not. If firm B doesn't advertise they want to not. So what do we have ourselves? We have ourselves a double dominant strategy. That usually means that your double dominant strategy is your Nash equilibrium. Okay. Let's check it just to be sure. Now I know that's right because it is. I know game theory if I didn't know it before, but I sure know it now. This is like the longest I've ever spent on game theory, but whatever. Hopefully it's you get it on the exam and we're all happy. So I know this is right, but let's work around the other way. And obviously feel free to fast forward, skip ahead, whatever. Assuming that firm B is not advertising, okay, could firm A make themselves better off? Right, I'm up in this quadrant. Yes, they could. As soon as I see that, I'm out, not a Nash. Assuming firm B is advertising. Firm A is advertising. Could they make themselves better off? Yep, not a Nash. Assuming firm B is advertising, could firm A make themselves better off? On the side, I look up and down. No, I couldn't. So this one's still in play. But if firm A is advertising, could firm B make themselves better off? On the top, look side to side. Yes, they could. That's not your Nash. Come here. If I know that firm B is not advertising, okay, could firm A make themselves better off? On the side, look up and down. No, I couldn't. Assuming that firm A is not advertising, right? Could firm B make themselves better off? I'm on top, so I look side to side. No, I couldn't. So there we go. That's our Nash. All right. I don't think I wanted to say anything else about that one. Oh, some people said that they figured out that was the Nash, but they thought it was a different total. So they said A, I think is the right answer, but it should be 4,800. This is me and my horrible math, but I would go 2 and 2 is 4, and 6 and 2 is 8, and then you got your 2 zeros, and that's 4,800 to me. So I'm not sure. Let me know privately or publicly or whatever. A couple of you thought that it should have been a different number. I don't remember exactly, but they're going to end up with 4,800, which is not as much as they could, right? Because they could end up with 5,000 if they were up here. If they both didn't advertise, this would be, they didn't ask you to see it, but this would be your cooperative solution up here. Because instead of the 4,800 as an industry, you could be having 5,000. All right. I think that's it on that one. All right, and the rest, I'm just going to read through fairly quickly. I hope. Or 11 and more than that because I started the clock late. Okay, so I think we're up to 21. For these two firms, choosing the dominant strategy results in the best possible outcome with respect to total profits. No, we just said that. This would be the best result for total profits overall as an industry. Okay. I'm sorry, I'm getting some text there. Don't worry, you guys are more important. It's either my wife or the social studies group chat, which is tends to be a little on the juvenile side anyway. So, prisoner's dilemma was all of those things. Okay, in a prisoner's dilemma, both players have an incentive to cheat, no matter what the other one does. Again, unless you have some kind of binding contract, you can always make yourself better off by going away from the cooperative solution. Think about, even though, and I hope you looked at the shared doc, even though Juan was wrong about some of the things he said about that one from the Nash, from the A Beautiful Mind movie, all right? It's still an interesting way to look at it, and it really does, even though the numbers he used weren't totally right, and even Ron Howard, if you looked at the links, Ron Howard, the director of that movie, kind of fudged up the math and the exact economic theory of it a little bit. The general idea is still good, right? If you really want to think about why people cheat when they're game theory or oligopoly or whatever, right? It's a great example, right? If we all say, hey, look, all of us, we're just going to go after the brunettes or the friends, right? Leave the blonde alone because, if we all go after her, we're not going to get her. So at least we get something this way, right? Each of those guys at the bar have an incentive to be like, yeah, we all promised, but now that blonde's sitting all by herself. So I'm going to give it a go. Now all these idiots, the one guy who decides to cheat has the advantage. Now he's the only one going after the girl. When both players cheat, both players are worse off than if neither of them had cheated. Yes, definitely. Think back to the first thing we did with this. If they both just kept their mouth shut and didn't confess, it would be a penalty, but not as severe as a penalty, right? They're both going to be worse off. And the prisoner's dilemma is a helpful tool for understanding one-shot games. As we saw with some of the examples, I gotta straighten up a little bit here. As we saw with some of the examples, it gets a little confusing when you're doing this for multiple years. Number 23, when a firm in an oligopoly pursues a tit-for-tat strategy, this implies that each firm will continue to pursue its strategy no matter what. No, that's completely the opposite of what tit-for-tat is. Just think about it. Tit-for-tat. You do this, I do this. So you're not just going to do one thing no matter what. You do punish the other firms. If you think about what we said tit-for-tat is, you play cooperatively, and then you base your decision on what the other guy did. He plays cooperatively, you keep playing cooperatively. He cheats, you cheat. So C works also. Behave cooperatively, but then mimic that. Again, this is an exact definition of what tit-for-tat strategy is. Right, so 23 was D. 24, firms in an oligopoly that expect to compete with one another for an extended period will choose non-cooperative strategy. A, no. Since they do not like competing with other firms and hope this will... No, A is just nonsense. B is your right answer. They're going to choose tit-for-tat strategy that evolves into firms cooperating, most likely, since they realize that the best strategy for the whole industry, if they're going to be doing this for an extended period. Okay, so that's B. That's the correct answer. They're not going to get in a price war. Who wants to get in a price war? You just lower your own prices. You're not going to drive the other one out of the... I mean, you might, but again, that's not a great answer. D, often ignore one another since they cannot do anything about the fact that they are competing in the same industry. Again, that one's a little silly too. So again, 24 was B. 25, we haven't covered that term. Again, I think it's in the PowerPoint notes that I shared with you. Not sure. So if you got this one wrong, don't feel bad. But this is the idea of, well, they did it, so I got to do something a little better. And then the other team says, oh, look, they did that, and I got to do a little bit more. That's an arms race, right? So unfortunate name because you're thinking about the Cold War and nuclear missiles and everything, but that's the idea, right? This firm just got a coffee maker in their waiting room. We have to get a Keurig in our waiting room. Then the other firm sees that and they think, okay, well, we got to get a barista in our waiting room. And they keep trying to, one up each other. Exclusive dealing, no. Tacit collusion, no. And definitely not antitrust activity. So that's A. 26, the kink demand curve model. A firm's decision to raise its price above the tacitly agreed upon price will. Let's go. This one's important. A, enable the firm to increase its revenue. Probably not. Why? Because answer B is actually right. Don't fall down, guys. It's going to result in the firm selling fewer units of the good than the firm might have initially anticipated, since the other firm in the tacit agreement will not change the price of its products they are selling. So, real quick, I'm just going to walk around and make sure we're still okay. We can pretty much see that. Again, never seen a kinked curve on a part 2. But for those of you who want to get the full experience here, let's go teal. Yeah, the whole point of the kinked demand curve is that there's really two curves at the same time. Okay, the flatter one that extends out and the steeper one that extends up, right? So if you cut your output, you raise price, they're not going to follow you up. They're going to laugh at you and say good luck. They are going to follow you down. Okay, so again, you're going to sell fewer units of the good. The firm's decision to raise price above the tax levy, yeah. The firm's going to sell fewer units of the good than the firm might have initially anticipated because these guys stuck to the deal. They have the lower price, and customers are going to go to those firms because they didn't follow you up. Letter C could be an episode of cheating on the tacit agreement that results in the firm being better off. No, again, they're going to lose out because other firms are not going to follow you up. So you would not be better off. Not possible because the firm had made a formal agreement. No, tacit collusion means wink, wink, nod, nod. Not a formal agreement, not like OPEC, not like you signed a contract. Okay? It's just, here's kind of what we came to. Two firms have a tacit agreement with one another based on the kink demand curve model, which of the following statements is true. The two firms will produce the same level of output and sell this output at the same price if they adhere to the tacit agreement. Yeah, they're going to stay at that point of tacit collusion if they can. The two firms may not necessarily have the same marginal cost of production. Yes, right? Again, this one's really important if you want to understand tacit collusion. Sorry about the glare. Because what this kinked demand curve results in is a break in the marginal revenue curve at that point of tacit collusion. So the part of that question is saying is one firm might have marginal costs there, and another firm might have marginal costs there, and another firm might have marginal costs there. But they're all resulting in what? They're all resulting in that sweet spot, ending up with the same quantity and jacking it, well, sorry, should be really to there, to the same price. Okay, so your firm might be, if you're this firm, you're not as well off. I'm sorry, you're better off than these two firms because your marginal cost was lower, right? You're doing a little better than this firm and a lot better than that firm, but still, for all those firms, the best thing they could do is that quantity at that price. Okay, and then the third one isn't true. The kinked demand curve model is a model that cannot explain. It is. It's just the opposite, right? So 27C, both 1 and 2 are true. 28, hopefully, I should have known this from American history, right, last year. I'll talk to Silo. Sherman Antitrust Act is all of those, right? It tried to prevent the creation of more monopolies. It intended to provide legislation to break up monopolies, and it was the beginning of the antitrust policy in the United States, even though it wasn't that great. It's American history, but why? Because really it didn't explain exactly what a monopoly was or say what the penalties were for having one, right? So of course we got the, wait for it, Clayton Antitrust Act, laughter. 29, which of the following makes tacit agreements more difficult? The existence of just a few firms, fewer firms, easier to make a deal, right? If there's 30 firms, hard to get everybody on the same page. 2 firms, it's just you and I that got to agree. B is the correct answer on 29. The existence of a buyer with significant buying power in the industry. Think of a Rockefeller or a Carnegie, right? Who can, say, hey, look, you want my business? You have to give me these prices because nobody else is shipping this much oil or this much steel. The existence of just a few firms that have interacted over time and have developed strong ties of trust. If you work together for a long time, a wink and a nod mean a lot more than if you've never worked together before. The existence of a few firms that produce one product with a relatively simple pricing policy. Again, that's something that's going to make it easier, not harder. And finally, 30, in an oligopolistic industry that practices price leadership. And again, we had usually the most popular or funnest or I don't know, entertaining, the activity that you guys usually are seniors, kids, students, micro people usually like most of the whole year. We can't really do distance. Maybe I was playing around with a couple different ways of doing it while we're doing distance learning. It's not going to be as good, but it really hammers home and shows you price leadership and how it works and this whole oligopoly thing. Basically, each of you represent one of the three big cereal companies in America, and you get to set your prices and see your profits. You know, so it's a great exercise that does so many things. It helps you guys practice calculating profits and costs and collusion and all that stuff. So it really sucks that we didn't get to that. But again, after the exam, maybe I'll try to work that out so we can do that distance learning. So the competition between the firms is apt to price competition as firms jockey for the right to be the price leader. No, the price leader is the price leader because he's the price leader. He's the big dog, right? I don't know who's out ahead right now, but soda companies base their prices off of what either Pepsi or Coke does, right? Fast food companies base their prices based on whoever the big dog is right now, whether that's McDonald's or Burger King, I don't know. But the big dog is the big dog, right? They're not like trying, they know, RC Cola knows they're not going to become Coke. Quantity competition as firms compete to gain market share, no. Should be C. 30 should be C. Non-price competition as firms strive to differentiate their products from the products produced by competing firms. Okay, if there's price leadership, and I know that I got to pretty much give the same price that Pepsi and Coke are giving, or establish the same. If I make peanuts, I have to, pretty much give the similar price than what Planters are giving, or whatever the case may be. Well, then how am I going to get people to want Checkers or Burger King or whatever instead of McDonald's? I got to show them I got different stuff. I have the Impossible Whopper, or I have better service, or whatever it might be. And obviously, it's not all of them. All right, so 30 should be C. All right, so that's it for this one. This one was already probably close to half an hour. If you look back and think you got everything about the quiz and know where you went wrong, you're all good. If you want to get some points back, I'm really just going to do it again. I don't really care about your grades right now. I care about you guys doing well on the exam. So if you're concerned about your exam or your grade, I have no idea what they're doing with placement as far as top 10 rankings and all of that. I assume some of you are probably in the running for top 10 and probably first or second. All right, so if you care about your average, just do like normal test corrections for this, right? I got number 3 wrong. You don't have to write out the whole question. Just explain what you were thinking, or you could also just say, look, I got these answers from, Sally, and she was sharing answers with everybody, and it turns out she was wrong. We don't. If you're confused, we don't have a Sally in our class. I just made it up. Explain what you were thinking, why the answer is right, why you were off. I set up my payoff matrix incorrectly, or whatever the case may be. So do that, and in this case, I'm going to give you. Normally, test corrections, I would give you back half credit for each question. I'm going to give you back full credit, right? So even if you totally bombed it, you'd still end up with a perfect score. Just do this. It's not a mandatory assignment. Send it. I will set up an assignment for it, so I don't have to get a million emails. But that won't be a mandatory assignment. I'm not going to make it like shutdown assignment 20, whatever. All right, I'm just going to set that up. If you want to do it, do it. And that's it. I'm going to add an extra credit question today. So whether you got a perfect score or didn't do well, whatever, here's our Shakespearean insult of the day. I had rather be a canker in the hedge than a rose in his grace. Tell me which Shakespeare play that is from. We'll give you some extra credit. And need to take a quick break and get some hydration. And then I'm going to make the monopolistic competition one to introduce that and to tell you your assignment for that. And that's it. Be well until hopefully not too long when I see you on the next video.